And we're live. Hey, there's 17.
Okay, I think we're live
and
here.
I'm going to mute myself.
Okay, thank you, Lindsay. This is Jared Taylor from Heritage Academy. Hello, everybody. Sorry for the little delay there. Need to work through a couple of the little gremlins in the YouTube channel here, but it looks like we have some people online for a discussion about the Heritage Academy elementary program that we're bringing. So appreciate everybody being there. And again, I'm going to be looking a little bit to my right, which I make sure we get the live stream going. I'm going to be hosting this event. I have a couple of guests here with me here. Kim Ellsworth was at our parent meeting the other night. Thank you for being here, Kim. She's our Director of Education. And Shalisa Arnold is our principal at one of our elementaries, our new elementary. She's going to present tonight as well. And similar to the other night, we are probably just going to give about 15, 20 minutes of information relative to our elementary program. And then if we can get the comments section to work okay, then we're more than happy to answer comments and go from there. So this presentation will also be recorded and it'll stay here on our Heritage YouTube channel for people to refer later on. Okay. So before we get into the actual elementary part of it, what I wanted to do is present a little bit of information relative to the pre-K program. I'm going to stay a little bit high level, and we're more than happy to have an additional session specifically on the pre-K, but I wanted to just touch on a couple things. Number one, we intend to keep the pre-K and continue to do some of the great things that it's doing. The program that we have over in the Mesa Queen Creek area really consists of 4 parts. First part is what we'll call just preschool, which is 3 and 4 year olds. And so 3 is the earliest that we bring them in. They do need to be toilet trained. The pre-K piece of it is really how we prepare them for kindergarten. And so you'll continue to see a lot of what you're doing, what you're seeing today in the Pinnacle pre-K program. We'll bring some of the best practices that we have as well. We want to make sure we have very qualified, certified teachers, a lot of play-based activities, weekly themes, things like that. We are going to be looking at the pricing model. We don't have that totally nailed down, but we do use ProCare that will deal with the scheduling, the fees, registration, things like that. That'll be the system that we use for that, for the pre-K services. And there is flexibility for families to do, the full week or, just partial weeks if it's just Monday or Tuesday if they need. And in our 4-day block schedule, our 4-week is Monday through Thursday. Now, if there's a need and there's lots of demand for Friday preschool pre-K services, then we could open that up as well. But generally between $300, $900 a month to depend on how many days are being selected and how much time is generally what we're looking at. Okay. So then on the other 2 pieces that we have in the pre-K space, our pre-K team is the one that operates what we call the Hero Club, which is kind of the morning before and after school care. There isn't any Hero Club currently on Fridays. But again, if there's enough demand, we can look at that. Right now, that's about $225 per month for before and after. And then there's some summer clubs that we also are looking to do in June and July. And, that's between 3 years old up to about 5th graders. 3 to 10-year-olds are welcome to do some of those fun things with crafts and arts and lots of activities that way. Only other thing I'll mention just back on the Hero Club is there is an option to just do before school only for about half price. Okay, so again, if we need more to have another separate dedicated webinar on that space, more than happy to do that. we'll be getting some more information out on that. But wanted to give a few little highlights so far on that. Okay. So I think with that, I do want to just touch a little bit on the elementary program that we have and what we've been doing, to bring the heritage program in, touch on a couple things here, and then have Mrs. Arnold extrapolate a little bit more on some of the details here. So it's been fun to get to know the school, the teachers, the support staff. They're all wonderful people. Over the last couple of weeks, we've had one-on-ones with every single one of them and just talked to them. Many of them are looking to stay, and we're grateful for that. There's some that are looking to move on, and we support them and grateful that they're gonna stay with our community. And we're grateful that most of the current elementary staff is staying with us, and that's going to be great. They're great teachers doing a great job. We know that enrollment is up, and many of you are started that process. Some of you have gone all the way through that. We're currently going to be training their registrars to be able to answer questions, start offering seats right away. So more information to come on that. But specifically today, we wanted to talk about the program that we're bringing in and putting into this. And this program at a high level really is some of the best, both in terms of research and in terms of readiness for the higher grades. And it's already proven to be very, very successful, not just at our Heritage Elementary, but in other elementary programs in Arizona and all parts of the US. Mrs. Arnold here has done an outstanding job of training her teachers and faculty and communicating to parents. So what I'm going to do here, if you're okay, Ms. Arnold, is just turn the time over to you and maybe take 15-20 minutes here and walk us through a couple of these slides, and then we'll go ahead and take questions.
Great. Welcome. I prefer talking to people and I can't see you, so hopefully it's okay, but we'll get to some questions at the end. And let's see. I'm just getting a notification. Let me make sure that's recording. So welcome everyone. As Mr. Taylor mentioned, I'm the principal out here at the Gateway campus, and we are the first elementary in the Heritage Network. So we've had an opportunity to kind of work out the bugs and do the best we can. This particular slideshow presentation is what I present to my parents, my prospective parents, so they get a good overview of what our program looks like. We are a K-8 school, so some of the slides in here are specific to the junior high. My understanding is that most of you are here for the elementary, the K5 or K6 space. So I'll make sure to kind of touch on all of the slides in case something is piquing your interest, but please make sure that you ask questions at the end so you can have your questions answered. So again, welcome to Heritage Academy. We can officially say that, right? Hopefully we'll make your transition smooth, and we're really excited about what we're doing here at our K-8 structure, and happy to have a counterpart with the Pointe schools, the Pinnacle Pointe schools, so that we can share kind of what we've been through this year. This is our first year, so we've learned a lot, and I feel like the product that we have here with the teachers and the curriculum and our scholars and their families is proving to be successful, and I'm blessed every day to get to be a part of it. So with that, let's move on. So this is just a picture of our school. This is the front part of our school. We love it. Again, it was built just for us this year. So we are moving in and we're happy with it. Heritage Academy out here at Gateway, we do serve K-12. So we've got the K-8 on our side and the high school is across the street. It's a little bit about our population. We have hefty wait lists going into next year, and we will be around 950 to 1,000 students here at our campus next year. So we're in a growing area and have a program that is really interesting to parents. I have tours every Wednesday, and they're at max capacity every single week. So the demand is very strong for the program and for the style that Heritage Academy brings, and we're excited to bring that to the West Valley as well. This is just a slide that kind of shows our site plan here, which of course your facilities will be a little bit different. It's probably a good point to stop and talk about that all of our schools at Heritage Academy are just a little bit different. So while programming is similar, we do obviously have some autonomy across the board to do what needs to happen in our communities, with our families, with our scholars, and of course with our facilities. So while we're presenting this program to you today of really what we feel a good elementary program should be, there will be some nuances that are specific to my campus and specific to yours as well. So just understand, we know that, and we're committed to make this work for your schools as well as for my school as well. We'll be partners. This is our founder, Earl Taylor, and this is a copy of our mission statement. Many of you have probably read it. I'll just give you a second to peruse that. The next slide will break it down just a little, but the mission statement hasn't changed a single word in the 29 years that Heritage Academy has been in existence. So that just speaks to the continuity of our goals and the vision that we have for the school and for our scholars. So let's break that down. That's a lot of words. So what does that mean? We really do focus on 4 parts in our mission statement. At my building, we call this the Heritage Way, or the Hero Way. You can see the hero down on the side. So we really do try to tie in service, character, standards, and American to everything that we do. Those are integral parts to our mission statement, and we do that in many different ways across our campus. But we do put a focus on not just the academic instruction that happens in our building, but we want to obviously put a huge emphasis on the character that we instill into our students. I like to say that we train the brain, but we will touch the heart. We don't do those separate of each other. We believe that they work in concert with each other, and you can't really have one without the other. So we do pay a lot of attention. We want to build strong students, but we also want to build strong people, people of character. And so this is the way we do that. Here at our staff, I can talk to you a little bit about our highly qualified staff. This is a picture. That's actually our building in the background when it was under construction right before school started. So this will go down in history. But Heritage Academy is known for teacher retention and for high-level staff. Teachers across the state want to teach for Heritage Academy. When I posted my 21 positions, new last year, I had over 200 applications for those positions, because of the reputation that Heritage Academy has, both for teaching, both for academic and behavior standards as well. My particular staff that I have here, 60% have advanced degrees in their field, and that's not unique to my campus. So we all want to be here. We want to improve our craft, and we want to be the best we can for the scholars who fill our building. Our teachers often serve as our coaches, so we get to know the families and the scholars very well. Average teaching experience in my building, even though we're a brand new building, my average teaching experience is 13 years. So we've got a wealth of information in our building to teach our scholars and take our curriculum to the next level. A little bit of our calendar. I know this will be specific to your campus. We do try to map the calendar to the existing district. So of course that will be a little different for you guys. I think what will be similar is the fact that we're a 4-day week. So we have 144 days of instruction, and that will be consistent with your campus, but they'll work out the kinks of your calendar. This is just a quick little slide that I share with my parents so they can put some dates down and start to work their vacations around that. Let's get into the meat of this K5 or K6, whatever the structure is going to be for you. Our 6th graders are included in our middle school, so our elementary is considered K5. We do have self-contained classrooms, so we have a 1st grade classroom, and each teacher has 25 students in that class. We do cap at 25 students for our building. A general day is 8 o'clock to 3:15. We do have instructional minute requirements from the state of Arizona, so all of our times map out to those instructional requirements. So that's where we get the 8 o'clock to 3:15. Our students can be on the playground by 7:30, and we keep that consistent with the junior high as well. We are an on-grade level school with increased standards of mastery. So we've chosen curriculum that is rigorous, but absolutely attainable by our scholars. But we have increased standards of mastery in the classroom. Even though we're on grade level, we go a little bit deeper. We ask better questions, and we get that critical thinking going. So we know our scholars are learning. Our K-5 students do benefit. Their lunch and recess schedules are pretty robust. We are big proponents of social play and unstructured playtime. We really can't do what we need to do in an elementary school unless we're providing that adequate social unstructured playtime out at recess. So our scholars benefit from a 20-minute recess in the morning, mid-morning, starting at around 9:30 in the morning. We trickle through with some different grade levels. So 20 minutes, which is much more robust than most schools. We have a total of a 40-minute lunch. Half of that will be, inside eating lunch, whatever that structure looks like. And then half of that, again, will be unstructured playtime on the playground. And then we also have a 20-minute unstructured playtime recess at mid-afternoon as well. As far as our curriculum goes, we are adopting Spalding English Language Arts. I know some of you are familiar with Spalding. We are a Spalding school. We do require our teachers to be trained in the Spalding method so that our scholars are getting the benefit of that true instruction across the board. Our math program is the Dimensions math program. That's a Singapore product. It's a K-8 math program that is the best program out there for showing algebra readiness by 8th grade. So with that consistent instruction across the board with Dimensions math, algebra readiness by 8th grade, and that's what we're really striving for. And we're seeing great success with that. Of course, there's a learning curve anytime you adopt a new curriculum. We're beyond that now and we're headed in the right direction. Everyone's getting used to it. And we've learned some tricks of the trade that we certainly will pass on. We've been through the trial period, so we're ready and willing to share that. For the rest of our core areas, we will operate the core knowledge reading. It's called CKLA. We do all parts of that with workbooks and literature sets. That's also our benchmark assessments for our early literacy skills as well, to make sure we're staying on top of our scholars who are needing focused attention in any one area of literacy instruction. We also use the core knowledge sequence for science and history. You can find many offerings online. If you just Google any of those, Spalding Foundation or spalding.org, you can get to some samples online. You can Google search Dimensions Math, and you can get to whole chapters of sample pages in any grade level you could want. So you could take a peek at that. Also with core knowledge, if you just type in core knowledge, you can get to the reading section, the science and the math at any grade level there. They have robust offerings for samples and viewing online. So that will be a great resource for you. Quickly for the 6-8 junior high, because I think this, the Pinnacle school is going to be a K-7 to start out with. But the daily structure for junior high is a little bit different. Again, I'm not exactly sure what you guys are going to do, but we do operate on a block schedule in our junior high. So you can see some of our information there. We do extend them to 3:30 just slightly, and they get 4 classes a day. So, generally 2 core classes and 2 electives on one day, 2 core classes and 2 electives on the other set on our B days. The lunches go for both K-5. We do operate off kind of a third-party vendor called My Hot Lunchbox, and they can order that on site. I'm thinking that's probably what we'll do there at the Pinnacle schools, but it's a great option. Most of our scholars bring their lunch to school, but those who don't, it's nice to have an option. It's kind of like DoorDash. We partner with local vendors and they'll deliver them to our campus sealed with the scholar's name and the grade level for easy passing out. So that's a good option. And then citizenship is another kind of highlight for our daily schedule. Across the board, we have identified citizenship time where we talk about our founding fathers, mothers, the importance of our country, what we can do to help that. And that's really our character program, very focused, very identified across the board. Our junior high scholars get that for 25 minutes a day. Our elementary scholars get that peppered throughout the day, but we do at least ask for an identified citizenship lesson for 10 minutes a day where we're focused on a character attribute and a person of our country's founding that was particularly integral to where we are today. Our scholars love that. We talk about that at opening ceremony, and it kind of becomes a month-long campaign. We're studying Dolly Madison this month, and our character attribute is to be empathetic. So we're learning about how we can do that to be better people that will then impact our our school community, their families, our city, and of course, our nation. That's the goal of our citizenship program. Let's talk homework. We are a homework school. Let's talk about the why behind. If we understand the why, sometimes that makes it a little more palatable. I know homework is a hot button. So we know that homework improves student achievement. That's researched, that's proven. We know that homework helps reinforce learning and it helps to develop good study habits and skills. We know that homework allows parents to be involved with their child's learning, and homework helps develop a pattern of discipline. We know that. Those are all great things. I want that. You want that. So how do we make that happen? At the K-5 level, we follow the 10-minute rule where it's developmentally appropriate, and each grade level, we just progressively add 10 minutes. So that by the time they get to junior high, they've kind of built that endurance of what that looks like. We're really teaching the skills of time management and self-discipline, not really content. We're going to take care of the content at school, and we're really teaching them to kind of portion their time out, be able to prioritize. Those are all skills that you and I learned somehow. Homework really helps to teach that. So that's really what we focus on with homework. It should be independent work. They should be able to complete it on their own. It should not be new learning. All new learning happens under the guidance of their teacher in the classroom. And really on your part as parents, it's getting them set into those routines and expectations of what that homework time looks like at home so that they can be successful. In our junior high, you can expect a half hour of homework per academic class per meeting. So if we have English twice a week, then you can expect about an hour of homework a week in those core classes. Math and English are definitely the more, I would say, steadily assigned homework, as opposed to history and science have a little less of a rigid schedule to that, as they're doing, a lot of collaborative learning in class. Of course, there might be pockets of homework, but it's not regular like English and math are. The beautiful thing, of course, electives are different. That looks a little different for them as far as homework. The lovely thing about this homework and the block schedule is we build in an extra date in between. So if we have homework assigned on Monday and they have English on Monday and Wednesday, the homework's not due until Wednesday. If homework is assigned on Wednesday, it's not due until Monday. So we have that built-in extra day to get the homework done. We also have a built-in study day. So if they have a quiz on Monday, they'll have a test on Wednesday. So they have an extra day in there to really work out the kinks and understand and get a good command of the material. And additionally, a built-in tutoring day. So if they, let's say they have a math quiz on Tuesday as a precursor to a test on Thursday, they don't do very well on their math quiz on Tuesday, they can seek that teacher out for an extra tutoring session to be ready for the test on Thursday. So all of those really help to prepare our scholars in the best way possible. Let's talk dress code. We are a dress code school, so you can kind of see some highlights of our dress code. I tell my parents, the only piece that has to be purchased from the vendor is the polo because it must have the logo on it, red, white, or navy. Anything on the bottom, you can look on the vendor websites. Those are approved styles, but they really can be purchased at a number of different places and at a much cheaper price. If you shop Goodwill, Target, Walmart, Old Navy, all of those are much better options than what we get for the vendor. As far as the bottoms go, they do need to be navy or khaki in color. But again, you can look to the vendor websites for the styles that would be approved and then just get those elsewhere is typically the best way to go about that. For outerwear, as far as jackets or sweatshirts, we're out of that season now. It's officially heated up, but their outerwear must be solid red, white, or navy. And you can kind of read through that also in the parent handbook and on the websites, you would be able to get that information. Our code of conduct, it's quite simple. We have one rule in this school, and it's to follow the golden rule. You can read below it what that means. But we do believe, just as our mission statement, the purpose of education is to build strong citizens and to build character. Everything else will fall under that umbrella. If we do a good job of building strong character in our scholars, they will be strong academically. They will work hard. The code of conduct is the same. If we really function off of this one rule, follow the golden rule, everything else falls under that. And it's quite simple. We like to keep it simple for our scholars, but we do have increased levels of behavior expectations as well as academic expectations for our scholars. And this is a way that we take care of that. I also like to say we busy ourselves with the little things before they become the big things. And it's refreshing. And of course, communication with parents is critical to that fight. As far as specials go, that's an important part of an elementary school. So let's talk through our K-5 specials and other activities that we have. I mentioned before, we do have recess 3 times a day. So that mid-morning lunch and then the mid-afternoon recess. We participate with PE, physical education, 2 times a week, 30 minutes each. General music, they also get 2 times a week. We have concerts 2 times a year. We just finished our spring concert in our K-5, and it was wonderful and well attended, and the scholars did such a fine job. For physical education, we'll have field day. We call it Hero Day, but all of those things that are pretty typical to an elementary structure, we want to have those opportunities for our scholars. At our particular campus, we will have a library next year with a librarian. So we've worked into our schedule. Library will be 1 time a week for each class. And we do have computer literacy for our 2nd through 5th graders, where a computer teacher goes into their classroom on a computer cart. And they do that once a week for 30 minutes. We keep that to 2nd through 5th grade. For kinder and first, we can do a little more of a demonstration basis, but we would like to keep them free from screens as much as possible. We're going to teach them to read first before we teach them how to type and do all those other sorts of things. So priorities, but of course, exposure is important. As far as technology goes, that's typically a question that comes up with families. I always tell our families that technology is a tool. We are not a one-to-one school, nor do we want to be. Technology is a tool that we want to use to supplement our lessons, but it's not the teacher. Our teachers enjoy teaching. They want to teach your children. Technology can be a great asset at times. We have computer carts on our campus that can be checked out. Nobody really has those independent in their own classroom, though. Again, technology is a tool for us. We want them to be literate as far as those things go and prepared. It's a necessary part of our society, but there are plenty of things that we can do with a teacher and students, minus the devices that are healthy and good. And then we pull those devices in when appropriate, when it can actually be a supplement to the lesson. As far as the junior high, this will be very specific to campuses, but we offer many different athletics in the world of many different electives in the world of athletics, fine arts, computers. We have a piano lab at my campus. We're very grateful for that. We have all sorts of activities for our junior high scholars. We do have a junior high history tour that my scholars are getting ready to attend at the end of April. So we have opportunities for our scholars to be involved outside of the school day is really the purpose of this slide. Just like our elementary, we want other opportunities for learning outside of a general education classroom because our scholars learn in all different ways. Some seasonal options, just so you can see, we do participate with the Canyon Athletic Association. Again, each campus is a little different based on their community and what is needed there and what their demand is. So we'll be working with you to see what that looks like in your space, with your families, with your scholars. So these are just our seasons that we offer. A little bit about registration. I know you guys are well in the works of that. So we really can move right on past this slide because I think you've been taken care of as far as this goes. But get in that application. So of course we can get everything taken care of for you and get you a seat ready to go and continue on your journey with becoming a heritage hero. We do offer placement tests. Again, I'm not exactly sure what that's going to look like for you guys, but for our junior high incoming 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, we do placement tests in reading, writing, and math. We want to make sure they're adequately placed and that we have resources available for them. We've just finished our first round of placement testing as a precursor to our course registration for our junior high scholars. Now, this is my information here at this question on this slide, but I certainly would open that up to you. If you have specific questions for the elementary, you're welcome to jot down my email. You can email me anytime, any day, and I will do my best to give you my opinion and my experience here at this campus of what this might look like. And I know I'll be working closely hand in hand with the principal of your school, and our teachers will be collaborative. Like I said before, we've done a lot of the heavy lifting of converting all of this curriculum into a 4-day structure. We've got pacing guides. My teachers have worked with this material all year, so we are happy to be sharing that with you. As far as Spalding goes, I'm taking good care of that, working with Kim to get that up and running. I am a Spalding certified instructor as well, so I'm a little protective of that. So we'll make sure that the teachers are trained appropriately and that your children are getting the benefit of the fullness of the programs that we will be offering. So hopefully I've given you enough time on this slide to jot that information down. Again, my name is Shalisa Arnold, so I'm on the top there. Jot that down, and the invitation is open. Please reach out if you have specific questions at all. And I think that's it. That's all for me, Mr. Taylor.
Okay. Thank you, Shalisa. That was great. That's a super good overview. Now, I know we have some people that are online, and I do want to mention that we somehow the comments are not coming through on YouTube. So what we want to do here to make sure that we answer questions, first off, Shalisa, thank you for offering up your email address. I'm going to show another email address here that we can capture information on. But what I also wanted to do so that we answer questions, there's a couple things that I wanted to clarify, and Shalisa, I might just ask you a question or two to maybe expand on a couple things. So first off, the question about junior high. So we have in the Schoolment, so the online application system, grades K-8 open for enrollment. And we're prepared on the heritage side to open up those junior high grades should there be enough interest in there. I know right now we have a 6th, 7th combo type class. Our intent is to fill up 6, 7, and 8. And in talking to the current principal, she believes that that's very, very doable, and we agree. So what we've done is we've opened up all the grades in the online application system, and we hope to fill them all up and run a great junior high. Now, in the case that we don't have enough for a full junior high program, we'll either run them as combo classes like they are today, or if there's just so few that it doesn't make sense to do that, then we'll contact families individually, let them know well in advance what's going on so that we can make other plans on that. But I know from our experience running, we've had junior high programs for over 20 years at Heritage Academy, and they're highly sought after. They're probably more sought after, truth be told, than the high school programs, just knowing how long the wait lists are. The wait lists at our junior high programs are typically about 150 to 250 persons deep because they are so strong. So that's the way that we're approaching the junior high grades. So some of those slides I think are very relevant because in terms of the junior high program, like the arts, we want to have a junior high drama program to the extent that we can do that, and there's interest. And that's really something that is really a prevailing, I guess, feature, right? If there's interest in something very strongly, then we're going to find a way to try to support that. If there really isn't, then we want to make sure that we really put the resources behind the programs that are very much interested. So for example, if there's a lot of interest in girls softball, then we'll go find a great girls softball coach if we don't have one already on staff. But if there isn't one, let's say in basketball, then we'll make sure that we have the girls softball program supported at the junior high level, put in the Canyon Athletic Association for good competition. And if we can build up the junior high girls basketball program, then hey, that's great. Same thing for boys athletics as well. Okay. Now, I also want to just this is, I'm going to ask a question to Mrs. Arnold here. Okay. And I'd like you to talk a little bit more about the value of Spalding. And maybe before you go into that, I'd like you to just address Spalding in terms of new families coming into it that don't have a Spalding background, and how we're going to coach and train the Pointe staff, because some, I believe, have a Spalding background and some might not have a Spalding background. Some families at Pinnacle might have a Spalding background and some might not have a Spalding background. So talk to us a little bit about how you've seen that successful at some of your other programs you've run, and how we might be approaching that here at with Pinnacle.
Great. So we really, I've been with Spalding for 23 years. This is my 23rd year, either teaching Spalding or managing that as a principal as well, at many different grade levels. So I started in 2nd grade, jumped up to 5th, went down to kinder, jumped back up to 4th. So I really have seen the fullness of the program. I knew it was wonderful, and I saw such wonderful results with my students. I didn't realize how wonderful it really was until I taught kindergarten and I saw how they started. Our kindergartners are reading by November of the first year, and there's just a natural cycle that we review a little, move forward, review a little, move forward. The benefit of the Spalding method is really that you've got to get that comprehensive instruction, but our scholars who get that, the benefit of that comprehensive instruction from kinder to 6th grade outperform their of age peers by grade levels. They're about a grade level and a half above their other of age peers when they've engaged in the act of Spalding, when they've been taught Spalding. So in my building, we've got a bit of a learning curve here because we got new students from everywhere. This is our first year. We had no existing K-5 scholars. We got them from 30 different zip codes coming to our area, multiple schools, dozens of schools that all had different programs. So we had to figure out, what are we going to do with this pretty hefty program with scholars who have never been exposed to that. So we hit the ground running. I'm an instructor. I also have on staff, my full-time reading specialist is an executive trainer with Spalding. So we have that benefit as well. We took our structure of Spalding, which is designed around a school that's 180 days. We don't have 180 days. So we completely revamped the scope and sequence for a 4-day structure. That's already done. That's already built out. The other thing we did in concert with Spalding, we worked with them because they like us. In fact, they were just here last week filming some of their new promotional material, even though we're year 1. We really have just jumped in head first into Spalding. Of course, we're big believers in Spalding here, and we train all of our teachers. We will be a Spalding accredited campus by the end of the year with the training that we have put in our campus. So we're really excited about that. I tell you that because we are the support structure for your school. My teachers are trained, and we've perfected this transition period of getting students and families who have never done Spalding before, getting them up to speed. So we also have developed a transition guide that was also used in a different school district that just adopted Spalding. The entire district did. So we kind of piloted that a little bit for them and are seeing great success with that. It takes the Spalding method and slows it down right at the beginning. So what would normally take 2 weeks to go through, we're actually spreading that out through 6 weeks. In some grade levels, kinder and first, we're spreading that initial introduction out 9 weeks. So we're really kind of just having a slower introduction so the teachers have more time to get used to it, to familiarize themselves, to perfect their own procedures, and to let the children adapt to this new style of learning. But we still get to the end just like everybody else. So we've just paced it out, and we've built that out for everyone, and it's working really well. And we plan to do the same thing again next year because we're increasing in size. So we will maintain the transition guides and the slower pacing at the beginning, right on par with our Pinnacle family, so that we can work together to make sure we get you off to a good start.
Good. Okay, thank you. I hope that gives some good information for people that may be new to Spalding or may have children in other situations, other ELA programs. I will say that a phonics-based ELA program, English Language Arts program, is actually state law. It's required by state law. Why? Because it's research-based, that it's the most effective way to get children up and reading. And early literacy is a huge, huge thing, not just at Heritage, but across the state. So we wanted to bring what we believe is the gold standard of ELA programs into this program. So Shalisa, let me ask you another question. Now, we went with dimensions early on. You and I, we both are Spalding Saxon people, right? We kind of had that. And I think initially when I thought elementary and you and I talked, we're like, well, what else would we do? Let's do the gold standard, right? Let's do Spalding and Saxon. And you found out that, well, Saxon is going away and it's not available. And we ended up on dimensions. Talk to us a little bit. I know you touched on it as our math program, but how do you maybe expand a little bit more on what you've seen so far now that you've run it for about a year?
Great.
And any observations on that particular program?
So again, I've taught Saxon for 21 years, managed that as a site level principal as well. So I know Saxon in and out, and I have seen the success that was to our scholars. I also, as a teacher, saw some of the deficiencies. There are pros and cons to every curriculum. So I knew what the deficiencies were. So when I found out Saxon was going away, and that didn't make sense to put a lot of time and money into adopting a curriculum that would no longer be beneficial, or we wouldn't be able to find materials, the hunt was on. And really, in my professional opinion, I am happier with Dimensions than I ever have been with Saxon. Some of the deficiencies that Saxon had are Dimensions' strengths. So Dimensions operates on a 3-part lesson frame. It's called Think, Learn, and Do. It's important to know that the think comes first. So we're going to have a visual component that really gets them interested, it piques their interest and gets them thinking first. Then we learn the concept, and then we do the concept. So think, learn, and do. Starting in kindergarten, they get very used to let's think, let's learn, now let's do. The visual component is something very unique. It's very manipulative based. So the kids are able to touch and feel and actually see the computation and the calculation, and that's very beneficial to an elementary brain. So we have, again, worked out the kinks to that. The one thing I would say that is Dimensions is deficient in is Saxon's big strength, which is that spiraling method. We do absolutely learn one concept a day, but many of my teachers have built out a spiraling method, so they're getting that constant exposure. So it's not a one and done. What we found with some of these programs where we teach one concept a day and move on, by the end of 6 weeks, they've forgotten a lot of that. So it's important to kind of keep that fresh in their heads. My teachers have built that out at many of the grade levels because we know the benefit there. So we kind of took the best of Saxon and we implemented it in our own way with the Dimensions program. But we are seeing the comprehensive scope and sequence that exists in Dimensions. So for instance, area and perimeter is being taught at the same time at every grade level. It's just at a different level. So I'll hear my teachers talking in the teacher's lounge. And this year it might be difficult because they don't have the foundation, say in 4th grade. They don't have the 2nd grade definition of area and perimeter and 3rd grade work in area and perimeter to understand what's going on in 4th grade. But as they kind of discuss and collaborate together, they realize, oh my gosh, next year's going to be so much better because my scholars are going to come to me with that information. So on purpose, it's been built that way. Every grade level discusses in their own developmental appropriateness each concept of mathematics. So every grade level has an element of area and perimeter. It's just building on each one per grade level standards. So it's proven to be a very comprehensive program. We're excited for next year. We're even more excited for year 3 when we get to see really the fruits of our labor there of working out the kinks as well. It's been a great program and we are seeing great results. We're doing our state testing right now and the feedback is the kids are flying through their state testing. So I'm excited to see how that turns out, that good data point for us at the end of the year.
Oh, that's great. That's exciting. I noted also on your slide, Shalisa, that the history science is going to be the core knowledge scope and sequence. So we won't go through that. That's been around for quite a while. It's a really great, solid, proven program. So I think that really rounds out a very robust academic program, which is what Heritage is very much known for, trying to bring the best that we have, in this space for our young people. Inevitably, we always get a question also about additional supports for students that might be needing a little extra support. So we call it special education, exceptional students, things in that space. Could you just touch a little bit on what special education services look like in the Heritage Elementary part?
Sure. It's pretty normal and natural. We do operate on a traditional pull-out resource program. We want the scholars as much as possible to be with their general education peers and with their class. Most of our scholars are with a specific learning disability, so they're just learning a little lower than their of-age peers. For instance, if they have a specific learning disability in reading comprehension, we would work with the teachers to pull them out of their class during reading comprehension so they could receive services at their own level with our special education teachers. And then we get them right back to class as soon as we can. We have interventions in place to help with that. We have speech services. We have referral processes for all of that. Student study team. We really, work with our teachers to identify needs, but our teachers don't wait for that. We also operate on tutoring and classroom interventions because not every child who struggles has a learning disability and needs special education services. They might just need something extra in the classroom. So there are procedures for all of that. But we do operate again off of a traditional pull-out. So they come and they go, they come and they go, they come and they go as much as they're able. That's the structure that we stick to internally. With speech and occupational therapy, we work with all of them to contract services out. We have the same regular people, but we have special education teachers on site.
Okay, that's excellent. I'm just going to actually make an update to the document here that I'm showing to make sure that we have good information here about where people can go to apply. I'm going to try to make this a little bit bigger here so it's easy to see if I can do that here. Try to do some it's always dangerous when you try to edit on the fly a little bit, but let's try to do this, make that a little easier to read. Okay, so some of you are going to want to have additional questions. So again, I hope this comes across okay. There's an email, a generic email address here, heritage@heritageacademyaz.com. Someone on our team that was at the original open house, you may remember Mrs. Lindsay Crosland. She gets those, and we'll make sure to get answers to all the questions. Some of you are interested in applying, so the Schoolmint link right there, that's the online application that will go ahead and get the process started. You might already be in that, and you can just go back in there and pick up your application there. I put the website on there at a little bit of a risk. We're just building that out. So we have a lot of good content up there, but there's still some content that we copied over from our Gateway site that we're just modifying and updating that with the point specific information. So if there's something on there that looks more specific to Mrs. Arnold's program than ours, just know that we're going to be updating that really quickly. But we wanted to bring a lot of that content over since a lot of those programs and systems are going to be coming over there. So just know on that website, we will be getting some updates. But I think the important thing for right now is if you're interested in applying and want to get that process started, then go ahead and write that Schoolmint link down or take a screenshot of this, or maybe take a picture of it with your phone or something like that. And then you can get started on that. So I think, Shalisa, just by way of wrapping this up, because I don't think we figured out the way to get these comments to work. So we'll put that on our goals for this year as well, is to figure that out. Let me just ask you, as you go on tours, I know you have a lot of tours and you have a lot of families on your tours. They're anxious to get in, and I think we're sending more and more over. And I've got some people coming in from Minnesota and maybe Colorado next week. I haven't even told you about to come take a tour. So
that's great.
That'll be fun. They want to get out of the snow, I guess, but but what's if you think of like one of the top 1 or 2 questions that you have from parents as you walk around and do the show and tell of the school, what would those top couple of things on their minds be if you can think of some?
I would say I had a tour today. I had 25 people on my tour today, so it was a big tour. And what's very consistent among all of them, they're looking for a well-rounded education for their children. They want a little of everything. So it's really important for us to listen to our families and to provide a high quality experience for them. And high quality means, that we're paying attention to things. So they definitely want that. I would say another question that's offered is often is how do we handle discipline issues? Because I think at surrounding schools, I feel like a lot of people think that's getting out of hand and they want their child to come to a safe environment where they can learn. So that's a big question that comes up always. I alluded to that in our presentation, that we believe in busying ourselves with the small things because we're teaching character. And we know that if we teach the heart, then the rest will follow. So we really do make that a point. I'm busy every single day, active and out, talking to scholars, meeting with scholars, following up with parents, because we do have a very involved parent population. So they're always interested in that, what our behavior expectations are. And they're looking for other opportunities. I think the reputation for Heritage is that we do have high academic standards. And so often a question is, what else do you offer? Because again, they're looking for kind of that well-rounded experience. I would say by and large, our elementary parents want to send their children to an environment where they are safe, where their children are safe and they are loved. And as educators, we understand that if a child feels loved and accepted, they absolutely will learn. So I would say that's probably always top of mind for them, is they're looking for the feel of the campus. They want to know kind of how we operate and will their child get the attention that they deserve.
Excellent. Thank you. Well, I'm glad you emphasize safe, because that's something when we poll our families about why did you come to Heritage, that's a very common theme of why they chose us, is because we don't just say it. Everybody says that safety is a priority, safety first, and things like that. But we really back it up with lots of procedures and systems and things like that. So that is a big priority. Okay, thank you. So I've got a couple comments or questions coming in. Somebody pointed out the spelling errors, so thank you for that. We're always looking to improve. So I think we can figure out how to spell school right here. So figure that one out. Thank you for the feedback on that. There was a question that came in here, Mrs. Arnold, if you could maybe help here, because we are looking to do this, take the same approach with regards to children turning 5 in November. Is there a bridge program? And maybe you could just explain a little bit more on that space, how you're approaching that. That's similar to what we're thinking of doing here at the Pinnacle site.
Great. So the restrictions for kindergarten is they must be 5 by September 1st. So that is the of age requirement. So that's what we're looking for there. We will fill our spots with of age kindergartners first. And if we get to a point where we still have spots available, we would open that up for some late birthdays, or we would call them late birthdays, or early entry kindergartners. We do have a kindergarten assessment that we created last year for that. And we have a few of our kindergartners that were, they had close birthdays and we felt comfortable bringing them in. I administered that assessment as a past kindergarten teacher. And of course, we would be looking to pass that off to our kindergarten teachers after that. We don't have space for that this year at my particular campus. We're filling all of our spots with of age kinders. So we won't have any of those late birthdays, but the preschool is a perfect opportunity for them to be entered into the preschool opportunity to really be socially developed. That's typically the bigger issue for our early kinders, or our late birthdays, early entry kinders, is that social development. Sometimes they're not quite ready. So it really depends, I would say, on space, whether we have space for that or not. That's the first question. And secondly, then, are they ready? Are they able to sit, attend, receive information, and collaborate and make those friendships that are so important to school? So again, we've kind of built out that assessment, and we would help the Pointe School to kind of come to terms with that, see what that looks like. And of course, as Jared mentioned, we're always looking to improve. That was just year one. And I know we would do something different, and we would do things a little differently in year two, as we're constantly trying to perfect that. First grade also has an age requirement. They have to be 6 by September 1st. In addition, there's a little bit of a workaround. If they can show successful completion in kindergarten, then we would accept them to first grade. But we do have to kind of watch those a little bit. It is up to us if we accept them. We do have kind of a hard cutoff at fall break for our kinders. We don't want to get too far into the November and December times, just because there's research that proves developmentally they never quite catch up. Those things are always a little bit more difficult for them, whether they're in kindergarten or in 4th grade if they're very young for their grade. So we do try and get that first quarter. That's the leeway. But then after fall break, it's too hard to come into a program after that time. As I've mentioned before, our kindergartners are reading by then. And that's really a steep learning curve for them to pick up and come in a little bit late. So again, case by case basis, what is going to be best for the scholar is really where we hang our hat.
Okay. Hey, thank you. That's super great information. So I think we're at the bottom of the hour here, and I'm not seeing, I know that there's a couple of emails that are coming through. I think I've addressed all those. Again, apologize, the comments didn't work, but we're anxious to get your emails here. So I'll just restate this. If there's something that you wanted to learn more about or things that we didn't address at all, we're more than happy to get back to you via email, or if you provide your phone number, we're more than happy to give you a call and talk to you specifically as there. If you're ready to apply, go ahead and take a screenshot or a picture here of the Schoolment address. And just know that the website is a little bit of a work in progress. But hey, we're very, very excited. The more that we get to learn about the teachers specifically, these are excellent teachers. They're dedicated to the growth and development of young people. And that's what Heritage is all about. We're excited to work with them. We're excited to work with the families. It was just fun to visit with some of the families, maybe some of you that are watching this or others after our open house a couple of weeks ago, and to know that we're very much aligned with the values of the community, and at least the ones that we talked to afterwards, and they're getting the word out. So we know that we'll probably have some additional seats. So please share this information with others that you think might be interested. And we want to thank each of you for taking your time this evening. I know there's lots of things that you could have been doing, and this should be live to be shared afterwards. There's probably some people that haven't been able to see it. So that's why we're recording it, so we can go back and follow up on a few details. So with that, Ms. Ellsworth and Ms. Arnold, thank you for joining us tonight and providing some good information. And we will sign off at this time. Thank you, everybody. Have a good rest of your evening.
Thank you.
Hey.